What's good, everyone? Audiolithic Mac back again with another video. Now, I know everyone in the producer community and the audio engineering community has heard about Native Instruments, correct? Native Instruments being insolvent and preparing for bankruptcy proceedings, right? And now, new information has come to light that Native Instruments is $300 million in debt while earning only $25 million a year. That's disturbing, people. That's disturbing. And when I saw this report, that immediately told me that this company is not a going concern. A going concern. For those who do not know what a going concern is when it comes to finance and business, let me explain that to you.
A few moments later.
Okay, first, let's look at the definition. A going concern when a business that is operating and making a profit. That's what a going concern is.
A few moments later.
Now, in terms of accounting, which I have a degree in an accounting term for a company that has the resources needed to continue operating indefinitely until it provides evidence to the contrary, right? Now, I want you to pay attention to this definition. An accounting term for a company that has the resources needed, resources as assets, as money on hand to pay off. Remember that. Needed to continue operating indefinitely until it provides evidence to the contrary. Now, we look at Native Instruments, right? The evidence clearly shows that they are $300 million in debt, right? Bringing in $25 million a year. Now, is that $25 million a year? Is that revenue or is that net income? That's the question. Is that revenue or is that net income?
A few moments later.
Now, let's look at debt to equity ratio, right? A healthy debt to equity ratio for a going concern is generally around 1.2 to 1.5, though capital intensive industries may maintain higher sustainable levels. Ratios exceeding 2.0 or 3.0 often signal significant financial distress and bankruptcy risk. A debt ratio, total liabilities over total assets of 1 or higher indicates insolvency, raising substantial going concern doubts.
A few moments later.
Now, back to Audio Animal's video regarding Native Instruments. Now, he wrote a response in the comment section based on the new acquired evidence regarding the situation at Native Instruments. I'm going to read this for you. After recording this video, the news came out today that Native Instruments, are $300 million in debt and making an annual turnover of $25 million per year. Annual turnover, right? Let's look at these terms, right? So I'm going to pause this video and we're going to look at what annual turnover means. Now, annual turnover is the total amount of money a business earns. Total amount of money a business earns from its sales of goods or services over a year, also called gross revenue or total sales. Gross revenue or total sales before any expenses are deducted, indicating overall business activity and performance. It's a crucial metric for tracking growth, assessing sales strategies, and determining business valuation distinct from profit, which accounts for costs. The total income generated from core business operations within a 12-month period, simply summing up all sales revenue before income, before expenses, only sales revenue. What it's not, it does not include interest income, asset sales, or money from investors. It's purely about sales versus profit. Turnover is the top line revenue, while profit is what's left after subtracting costs like cost of goods sold and operating expenses.
A few moments later.
Back to Audio Animal's response. See, this is what I can't stand about half-witted, half-presented information, right? A lot of people don't understand these terms, so they can easily be fooled by what they're reading. Annual turnover. Now, I just gave you the definition of annual turnover. 25 million per year. That has nothing to do with expenses. So we know the problem of Native Instruments is liabilities and expenses, not annual turnover. They're bringing in $25 million, but their net income is in the red. That means they're spending more money than they have coming in. What is causing them to spend more money than they actually have coming in? $25 million in sales. Yet it's costing them way more money to earn that $25 million, people. That's not a sustainable model. If you are spending more money just to generate $25 million, that constitutes your company not being a going concern. Publicly traded companies that face this dilemma usually go out of business. Their stocks tank and become penny stocks and become delisted from the New York Stock Exchange, people. This is serious business. This is not a game. Who is going to spend $300 million to save this company? A software company where software is pretty much worthless. You can't go to a bank, right? For example, but I'm going to digress. I'm going to go back to that scenario, but we're going to go back, decompress, and go back to Audio Animal's response. And this is why, man, the grift's got to stop, man. This is ridiculous. The misinformation and the half-baited information has to stop right now, but we're going to continue. Now, with this new information, I'd still be very surprised if they cease to exist anytime soon. Yes, anytime soon. What does soon mean, Audio Animals? What does soon mean? Soon can be in the next 2 hours. Soon can be in the next 5 days. Soon can be within the next month. What does soon mean? That is ambiguous, Audio Animals. I predict they will be bought out or they'll sorted with an investment. Who will invest in a guaranteed loss, Audio Animals? How are you going to make $300 million? And then this company has proven to be a debt hoard. It just accumulates debt. And then you lay off workers, but guess what, people? I guarantee the top brass of Native Instruments, they didn't decrease their salary. I'm going to try to do some further research in another video and see if I can find their 10K find their financial statements so I can see exactly how much their CEOs and top brass are making and where the money is actually going. Because that's what you need, people, not statements. You need actual 10Ks, actual financial statements so you can research what's going on in that company itself. But we don't know if there are any financial statements. In the United States, we have different standards, but I don't understand. I don't know the standards of Germany. I would have to research the standard financial processes of Germany when it comes to their equivalent of GAAP, generally accepted accounting principles. I would have to research that, but I will get back to you in another video. But I digress because this is ridiculous. The misinformation and the half-baited information. Let me continue. The idea that native instruments are cooked is laughable. Come on, man. Cut it out, bro. Cut it out. They are too big. And this is how you get lured into the fluff of a lot of these individuals on social media. You get lured into the fluff. They are too big, too connected as a business to not sort this out. If they were that big, are they a publicly traded company? Because a publicly traded company can issue stock, can raise capital from the stock to pay off debt. The issue with that is once that money goes to kaput, can you issue out any more shares and sell those shares to bring in more money to your company? That's business. He said he has a business. He said he has a company, Audio Animals. You should already know this. If you have a business, if you have a company, you should already know this type of information. I know your company's private, but when it comes to publicly traded companies, they will have an easier way of getting out of this situation to maintain a going concern. But is Native Instruments a private company? Does Native Instruments issue stock? So where are the investors? Where would the investors come from? It would have to be a private investment. A private investment, right? Some type of hedge fund would have to come in, right? A hedge fund will be the only individuals that can be able to buy this company. Only if they can make money, either from the sale of stock or make money from retained earnings, revenue. That's how it works. Now, let me continue. They are too big, too connected as a business to not sort this out. Yes, we should worry, but honestly, it shouldn't be as bad as you think. I'll eat my words if they go bust and cease to exist. Of course you would eat your words. Yeah, you would say that. Yeah, you would say that at the end. So but ask yourself this, how many times have YouTubers in this space have eaten their words? How many times have YouTubers who have been absolutely wrong, they go missing? They go quiet for a little bit, or they just don't bring it up anymore. You're just going to let it just fade like a fart in the wind. I want you to just ask yourself those questions. Now, this comment right here, and big ups to Rising Phoenix 1484. This probably is the best comment, but only got one like, and that was from me. Now, everybody else, they'll like all the nonsense. They'll like all the nonsense, right? That makes no sense at all. But the one comment that pretty much broke down the information that you really need to adhere to only got one like, and that like came from me. Let me read you the comment. 300 million in debt for the music industry. They are cooked. You can't be turning over that much debt plus an additional 25 million a year, not in this industry, unless your debt to net income ratio is under 25%, but realistically, that's like us when we try to, not really a company per se, but a company, yes, when it's universal between a human, a person, or a private entity, or a public entity, right? For a bank to loan you money, right, your debt to income ratio should be under 25%, not over, right? That would show you that you can pay your bills on time while minimizing your debt. And as we can clearly see from Native Instruments, right, they have been borrowing money to the point their debt to net income ratio is astronomical, right? It's nowhere near the 25 percentile. And the reason for the insolvency, correct? So let me continue. So their revenue needs to be at least 100 million, with them retaining profitability needs to be at the very least 15%. Hence, they would need to retain $15 million. If you were to divide that into the total $300 million without any interest, is 20-year debt service. We don't know their revenue. I doubt they are making 100 million a year. Why plug-in prices are going down, not up to compete? And that's another thing that I will address. Why plug-in prices are going down, not up to compete? Because plugins are not going to save you, people. Hardware is what has been used since forever in music and to this day. A plug-in cannot replicate a hardware unit, people. And then on top of that, they're selling these plugins for $53, $400, $500, $600 for a plugin is ridiculous. These plugins are worthless. I would say $50 the max for a plugin. Just to keep the doors open. But do you actually need doors? You're not manufacturing anything from a plug-in. It's not like a car where you have an assembly line, where you have people physically conducting labor to build a tangible product. It's totally different. When you go to a bank, right, or go to a loan office, right, when they ask you, do you have collateral? Yes, I have my home. I have a car. I have tangible assets. They will use those real assets as collateral. Now go to a bank and tell them, after they ask you, sir, do you have collateral? Well, I have a bunch of plugins. They're going to laugh you out of the bank. Show me anyone that will go to a bank and tell them I have plugins as collateral, software as collateral. You and I'm not talking about no company. I'm talking about you who purchased that plugin. You spent $2,000 on plugins. Tell me you can go to a financial institution and use those $2,000 worth of plugins for collateral at a bank. The answer is no. But if you have the hardware versions, yes, you can use that actually as collateral. The same way you can take a hardware unit to a pawn shop or to Guitar Center and trade it in or sell it. But go to Guitar Center or a pawn shop with $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 worth of plugins. I want you in the comment section or mentally in your brain, ask yourself, will they give you any money for those $5,000 worth of plugins if you take them to a pawn shop, if you take them to Guitar Center? The answer is no. So why are you spending this type of money for something that you have no intrinsic, no tangible value? And then on top of that, it doesn't even fully replicate the hardware. It still sounds thin. You're just throwing away money. And you wonder why there's wares. You wonder why these hackers are hacking these companies' products and putting them online and giving them away for free. Can you hack a car and give a car away for free? Can you hack a house and give a house away for free? Ask yourself that. You cannot hack a tangible product and give it away for free. You can only do that with software. That's it. But they're selling you all this stuff with these ridiculous doggone prices for one purpose: to put big money in their pockets. And that's what I see from Native Instruments. The top brass has literally drained the hell out of that company and put it all in their pockets while laying off their workers who depended on them for a living. Instead of lowering their salary, what they did was lay off their workers while the top brass kept all the damn money. To the point they're going to drain this company to being non-existent. To me, that sounds like a shell company. To me, that sounds like a Ponzi scheme. To me, that sounds like a scam. Now, you can take it however you want it, because that's exactly what it is. And people, we're going to have to start waking up, man. But I digress. Let's get back to this. Why plug-in prices are going down, not up, to compete? People are running to AI, which is deflationary. That's correct. 100% correct. Hence, any software service you provide, prices need to go down. You have to ask this: what music company has $300 million in cash available to buy this business and wipe their debts clean? None. None. As of mid-2025, UMG only had $525 million. And that is the richest company in the music industry. And they have a debt of $4.4 billion. So their total debt ratio is about 20%. Easily manageable with what their total revenue of $8.9 billion. Total revenue, $8.9 billion. Because these companies have real assets like catalogs, masters, not digital masters. I'm talking about the physical masters. They have catalogs that earn money. When those songs are played, that's why I keep harping to you guys about songs. Stop making beats all the time and make songs. Those beats are doing nothing. Make a damn song. Make a song. That song has value, believe it or not. A beat is worthless. A beat sitting there, you just making the beat. That's nothing. Make a doggone song and at least put it out there where people can appreciate it and listen to it. And then, if the appreciation grows, the value of the song grows. People, wake up. So when you see compare ratio of a good company in the industry versus Native Instruments, they are 100% completely effed. Effed. I just looked it up. Native Instruments estimated revenue for Native Instruments is $78.5 million to $113.7 million. So in line of $100 million minimum to work on this debt. They are seriously in trouble just from doing the behind an envelope calculation. Now, people, you've seen this. You've seen the information that I have given to you. Because let's be frank. I like plugins. I own plugins. Some of these plugins are great. Some plugins are trash. But for the most part, a lot of these plugins can solve certain problems in audio. Certain problems, not all the problems, but certain problems. And yes, emulations cannot emulate an analog. They cannot emulate tubes, people. They cannot emulate transformers. I've done the test myself. A hardware EQ, a plug-in EQ just can't do it. It would never emulate a hardware EQ. The sonics are a hardware EQ is cleaner. The sonics are better. There's no harshness. There's no distortion. There's none of that with the hardware EQ. But it's software plug-in equivalent. You're going to get harshness. You're going to get distortion because it's ones and zeros, people, not circuitry, not voltage. It's ones and zeros. And you people who I know a lot of y'all in the comment section who be so pro plug-in. I know y'all are pretty much the plug-in fanboys and goons. I understand that. Because you got to keep the grift going. We got to keep this grift taking money out of my pocket. Well, that's what all grifters are doing. They take money out of good people's pockets. That's what they always do. So why would you act any differently? You know, we have to start waking up, people. The time is now, man. 2026. It's time to stop getting conned and scammed and bamboozled. It's time. It's time to wake up from this fallacy. It's time to wake up from these, what I call hoop dreams, and face reality. People, this company most likely is gone. You know, can it be saved? Will somebody make an attempt to try to bring this company out of the ashes? Possibly. But they will be taking a huge risk. Unless they plan on using this company as a shell. As a shell company. And we've seen how that happens. Right? Wolf of Wall Street. Fake shell, phony companies. Companies that will never be profitable. But you're luring investors in to take huge losses. Interesting, huh? That's all I have today. Make good music and open your eyes. Stop allowing yourself to be bamboozled. Open your eyes, people. Open your eyes. The grift is over.